Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, our topic today is how to soften wrinkles in a portrait. Now, my golden rule is simple. If the subject's own mother can't recognize them, then you've gone way too far on your portrait retouching. So the goal is to make it look good, flattering, and you want to compliment the person, but you don't want to go so far that it doesn't look like them. All right? So here's an image of author Sandy Parks. Sandy is an amazing friend of mine. She's an author. She's a black belt. The woman's amazing. We did this photo shoot downtown Melbourne, and she wanted to use it for the back of her book cover. Well, I want to make sure I capture her, just how Sandy is, but at the same time, not go overboard that if somebody's reading her book and they meet her in person, they're going to look and say, oh, this doesn't look like you. So you want it to make sure it's a very good representation of the person. Now, before we begin, we do want to take a moment and want to thank our partner, Fujifilm, in helping make this possible. Fuji reminds us, stay home, stay creative, and stay safe. Great. Now, if you could, please hit that thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. It just gives everyone a chance to be excited about the stuff that we're doing. So once again, please hit that thumbs up. And if you have questions, please put them into the chat, and we'll try to answer them throughout the show. Hello, Julie. So if you have questions or if you have suggestions for other shows you'd like to see, please don't forget to leave a message. All right, so let's jump right into this. So here we are. The first thing I want to do is let's just do some real quick retouching to this. Not the wrinkles yet. What I want to do is just make it look a little bit sharper. So, in fact, here we go. There we are. All right, I'm going to use AI accent. And look what this automatically does for us. It improves color, the detailed tone and depth of the image. Let's put a little detail into the image. Not too much, right about there. And then let's come down to the portrait enhancer. In fact, let's do the skin first. I'm going to smooth the skin. Good, right about here. And now for the portrait enhancer, I do want to make sure I bring out her eyes, remove any of the dark circles or patches under the eyes. Let's slim her face just a little. There we go. And I'm going to add a little light to her face. There we are. So here it is before and after. Good. Now let's zoom in real tight. There we go. All right. So now that I have the base set, and I want to add a new layer, but I'm sorry. What I want to do is I want to use the erase tool found in the canvas tools. Now, when I use the erase tool on this, what's going to happen here is it's going to create its own new layer. And this is where we'll apply all the erase stuff onto the subject on that particular layer. All right? So here we go. I'm going to turn off the highlighter. I'm going to use the left or right bracket keys. I want to make the brush a little bit smaller. And I'm going to come in and just paint over some of these wrinkles. And actually, you know what? I'm going to subtract. I want to get rid of this one first because we'll come back to that one. Let's tackle those little ones first. And click erase. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I can already tell that some of the color is going to seep in. Now, the reason why I'm taking it a little step by step is because, I had subtract, add, there we go. Because this way, it's going to pull from different parts of the image. So I want to take it inch by inch. Just take that little section, beautiful. pull it from here. Let's come back over here, do the same thing. Good. And erase. Good. Now, that doesn't look perfect, but that's okay, because the next step will fix all this. And I'll erase that. So you can tell it's taken the color. So it's definitely taken some of the color from the different parts of her skin. And that's fine, because this next step is going to tie it all together. So we just did this, and I'll click done. Now, here's the key. We're going to go to the top layer, and here's the erase layer. If I bring the opacity all the way to 0, it's as if we didn't make any change whatsoever. So now what I'm going to do is slowly bring it back in, just until I start to see the shadow of the wrinkles be a little bit softer. There we go. There. I'm going to bring it back just a touch. So before, after, one more time. Before, after. I can actually go a little bit further. That's it. 70. Oh, now it looks too fake. Let me dial it back a little bit. There. Now I'm going to add another adjustment layer. And on this adjustment layer, we can apply the skin softening again. Now here's an extreme. Let's see what that does. Well, not too bad. And actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let me come back for a moment, because with that adjustment layer, I'm going to delete it. And instead, let's apply a stamp layer. All right. So what a stamp layer is going to do is it's going to merge the bottom and the top layer together and make its own layer on top. Now, I did this because I noticed that when I applied the skin softening, is that it didn't apply it to the other areas. It just applied it. It only applied it to the areas that we erased. So let me put this in. There we go. That's too much. So I'll dial it back. Bring a little shine in. There. So before, after, and it just gives it that extra little pleasing look. So the key or the trick is to make sure that when you're doing like the erase feature, is that you dial it back. So it's not at 100% because you're removing all of the wrinkles. Now it's going to look fake or like a plastic surgery. So we'll dial it all the way back. Now, to finish this off, we could come in and let's say do the Orton effect. And you can decide if you want type 1 or type 2. So put a little brightness to the scene. Add more softness. Good. Oh, let me pull this up a little bit bigger. So here we are. On and off. Good. And if you want to go another step further, under the creative tools, I like to play around with Mystical just to see what it does to her hair. That's a little too much. That's going to give it a dreamy effect, but I think it's just a little too much. So I'm going to dial it back. There we go. All right. Now, Julie's asking, when you make a new layers, do you always stamp? Then when you are finished editing? Not always. In this case here, because I went out of order, it's fine. Because I've already created a look for this. So I usually don't create the stamp layer unless I've already created the look that I'm going for. So in this case here, I've already created what I wanted. So I'm just experimenting at this point. And then from this point on, if I were to re-add this look to all of the images in the set, then I would start with one layer, create my look, apply it to all the images, and then quality control and go back to what we're doing here. All right? So good question, Julie. So before and after. All right? Well, there you have it. So again, when you're doing editing, make sure you don't go overboard to where it doesn't look as a fair representation of that person. All right? Well, hey, I'm Vanelli. Thanks so much for watching. And once again, if you have questions or comments, leave those in the comments below. And if you have suggestions for future shows, let us know. Thanks again.